Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Mridanga. Mridanga. Is there a mridanga or no? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Madhava Kunjabi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadhari Jasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamunatiravana Shati Yamuna Tiravana Shadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Kunjabi Gopi Jana Balabha Girivadadhari Jana Balabha Girivadadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadadhari Girivadadhari Jasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodhanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Yamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi Jayom Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parividagacharya Astatara Satasi Srimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Magic. In a moment, the verse is going to show on the screen. Right? Magic. Watch it. He knows the magic. Woo. Okay. Canto 3, Chapter 17, text number 5, 3:17:5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. So now text 5. Vava Vayu Sudush Parsha Putkaran Irayan Moho Umulaya Nagapatin Yat Vatyani Korajo Dvajaha Vavau Vayu Sudush Parsha Utkaran Irayan Moho Mulayandaga Patin Vatyani Korajo Dvajaha. Someone please chant. Ladies, please. Vayu Sudush Parsha Vavau, blue, Vayuhu, the winds, Sudush Parsha, and unpleasant to touch. Putkaran, hissing sounds. Doesn't sound very nice. Irayan, giving out. Mohu. Again and again. Unmoldayan. Uprooting. Nagapatin. Gigantic trees. Vatya. Cyclonic air. Anikaha. Armies. Rajaha. Dust. Dvajaha. Ensigns. Do you hear the sound? Shh. There blew winds which were most uninviting to the touch, hissing again and again and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of dust for their ensigns. Ensigns means flags, right? Yes. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When there are natural disturbances like blowing cyclones, too much heat, or snowfall, and uprooting of trees by hurricanes, it is to be understood that the demoniac population is increasing, and so the natural disturbance is also taking place. There are many countries on the globe, even at the present moment, where all these disturbances are current. This is true all over the world. There is insufficient sunshine, and there are always clouds in the sky, snowfall, and severe cold. These assure that such places are inhabited by demoniac people who are accustomed to all kinds of forbidden, sinful activities. No countries were named. You can use your imagination. So I'm going to read through, because there's a series of verses that describes all these horrific things going on in nature, and then we're going to end on text 15. Text number 6. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen. 7. The ocean with its high waves wailed aloud as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion among the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered. 8. Misty halos appeared around the sun and the moon during solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of thunder were heard, even without clouds. And sounds like those of rattling chariots emerged from the mountain caves. Spooky. In the interior of the villages, she-jackals yelled portentously, vomiting strong fire from their mouths. And jackals and owls also joined them with their cries. Let's get out of here, it's crazy. 10. Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing, and now of wailing. 11. Oh, Vidura, the asses ran hither and thither in herds, striking the earth with their hard hooves and wildly braying. Purport. Asses also feel very respectable as a race, and when they run in flocks hither and thither in so-called jollity, it is understood to be a bad sign for human society. 12. Frightened by the braying of asses, birds flew shrieking from their nests, while cattle in the cowsheds as well as in the woods passed dung and urine. 13. Cows terrified, yielded blood in place of milk. Clouds rained pus. The images of the gods in the temples shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind. And there's more. 14. Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones such as Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, as well as a number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with one another. Purport. The entire universe is moving under the three modes of eternal nature. Those living entities who are in goodness are called the pious species. Pious lands, pious trees, etc. It is similar with the planets also, semicolon. Many planets are considered pious, and others are considered impious. Saturn and Mars are considered impious. When the pious planets shine very brightly, it is an auspicious sign, but when the inauspicious planets shine very brightly, this is not a very good sign. And then text 15. Marking these and many other omens of evil times, everyone but the four sage sons of Brahma, who were aware of the fall of giant Vijay and of their birth as Diti's sons, was seized with fear. Everyone was seized with fear. They did not know the secrets of these potents and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, the laws of nature are so stringent that it is impossible for the living entity to surpass their enforcement. It is also explained that only those who are fully surrendered to Krishna in Krishna consciousness can be saved. We can learn from the description of Srimad Bhagavatam that it is because of the birth of two great demons that there were so many natural disturbances. It is to be indirectly understood, as previously described, that when there are constant disturbances on the earth, that is an omen that some demoniac people have been born, or that the demoniac population has increased. In former days, there were only two demons, those born of Diti. Yet, there are so many disturbances. At the present day, especially in this age of Kali, these disturbances are always visible, which indicates that demoniac population has certainly increased. Paragraph. To check the increase of demoniac population, the Vedic civilization enacted so many rules and regulations of social life, the most important of which is the Garbhadana process for begetting good children. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna informed Krishna that if there is unwanted population, Varna Sankara, the entire world will appear to be hell. People are very anxious for peace in the world, but there are so many unwanted children born without the benefit of Garbhadana ceremony, just like the demons born from Diti. Diti was so lusty that she forced her husband to copulate at a time which was inauspicious, and therefore the demons were born to create disturbances. in having sex life to beget children, one should observe the process for begetting nice children, semicolon. If, big one, if each and every householder and every family observes the Vedic system, then there are nice children, not demons. And automatically, there's peace in the world. If we do not follow regulations in life for social tranquility, we cannot expect peace. Rather, we will have to undergo the stringent reactions of natural laws. Any questions? I remember one time visiting a place in South India, and there were a number of young men in the assembly, and at the end of the discussion, there was like a purposeful, a little bit challenging question. We're all born in Brahmin families, and we would like to know why it is that in ISKCON you say, in this age of Kali, everyone is born Sudra or lower than Sudra. Challenge. And I said, because tell me who amongst you, before you were born, or anyone is in the present age that they are observing Garbhadang Sanskara, because in principle, and they were nodding as soon as I finished this, because in principle, Brahmanas are to observe Sanskaras. Their Sanskaras means purificatory processes that are to ensure the soul progresses further and further and further in spiritual elevation. Brahmanas are to observe sanskaras. Now, they may engage in sanskaras for the benefit of others, but Brahmanas must. And they looked at each other and shrugged their shoulders and said, "You're right." Now, it's not pointing fingers or shame on you or any of those kind of things. This material world is likened to a prison house. I'm sure you're aware of that metaphor. For the prison, what's a prison for? Prison is for people who are rebellious. There are laws of the state, and some people don't care for the laws of state, so they're not executed, they're put in prison. Some people are executed. But there's prison for people that just are not law-abiding, and the material world is such a place. It's like a prison house for rebellious souls. And rebellious souls may be reformed, and rebellious souls may not be reformed. They're making choices even in prison. So there's a euphemism, reformatory, like juvenile discipline, as far as I know. There's reform schools. It's for kids that are wild. And so they're put in a special school where they don't have to, others don't have to be subject to their behavior, but they're given a chance to rectify themselves. A reform school. Anyway, the codes of the Vedas are for regulation of sinful tendency, or you can say it positive, for regulation of those that have material bodies that have by their nature sinful desire. Sinful desire meaning in principle separate from, pious in relation to, impious separate from the interest of the Supreme. So whose interest? And pious people can also have separate interest. And impious people certainly have separate interest. And there's consequences. And when the population on the earth fails to observe sanskaras, at least, minimally, at least the brahmanas, and when brahmanas are not qualified, then the society goes down. And if brahmanas are qualified, then the possibility is society can go up. So brahmanas are to observe Brahminical principle, including the external and the internal Brahminical principles. And when they do so, then they can give proper guidance. When the head is in proper order, it can give direction to the rest of the body. When the head is in disorder, it's cuckoo. The society is not properly directed. Unfortunately. And the principles, we'll say it again in a different way, the principles of regulation are not meant for, severe constraint. It's meant for elevation. I mean, a number of you are parents. So you have a really fantastic opportunity to make mistakes in raising your children. And you can be too lenient, you can be too constrictive, and it's not a good result either way. So being a good parent is not a piece of cake. Good luck to all of you. So how to encourage, so sometimes you have to say no. But how to say no in such a way that doesn't turn into defiance. How to properly train. It was a little bit like the discussion yesterday where Prabhupada, and arriving in the Boston Harbor, wrote this celebrated poem, how to help these people that have no interest at all in spiritual life understand spiritual life. Mission impossible. How to do this? Only if you make it possible. So the good parent or good teacher or good guide or good mentor or good brahmana understands both what's to be done, what's not to be done, and they do what's to be done and not what's not to be done. And then they shed light, according to different audiences, how to move from an unfortunate position, on sinful life. We just take this, the same topic as yesterday evening. For example, Margari the hunter, and so many nice examples. How to help somebody move from a stuck position, and they're thinking it's nice, to a position where they're understanding that's not so nice. And then, even if you understand it's not so nice, how to reform, how to move to something nice. So that's a Vaishnava function. And amongst the Vaishnavas, those who are actually Vaishnavas, are Brahmanas, at least by function. And different Brahmanas have different skills and different specialities and differences, even amongst that classification of Vaishnava Brahmanas. But there's a function to play in society, and it starts with observing one's own duties properly, and then with kindness and all the other nice Vaishnava characteristics, helping others to move in that direction. Give direction so people can move in that direction. That's our life. Become, receive, and then give what we've received in an appropriate manner for different groups. So just thinking on the service that Prabhupada rendered by providing the Bhaktivedanta purports. His audience was the world. And in the world, there's all kinds of people. And how are the all kinds of people going to understand transcendence? Of course, the verses of the Bhagavatam provide that foundational sound vibration, transcendental sound vibration. And then the Bhaktivedanta purports are the application of those sound vibrations. And there are different people that are going to have different takes on the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So many times Prabhupada said that I take no credit, I'm simply the postal peon, I'm the message carrier. He was instructed by Bhaktisiddhanta, which means implicit. He's instructed by the personality of Godhead through the medium of the representative of the Supreme Lord to take this message and give it to the world. In English-speaking parts of the world means the world. And then other languages and other languages and so forth. So his world stage, Age of Kali, full blast, how to help the society at large come to a place of sanity. So there must be some indication of regulation. You can't avoid it. No, people don't like regulation. They don't like to be restricted. They like their freedom. And their freedom means unlimited desires with unlimited means of fulfilling those unlimited desires. And things are all over the place. Bahushaka yanantasya, bhutayo vyavasainam. Materialistic population. And to give bodhi to that audience. So he didn't compromise. In some cases, he was very strong. In some cases, he was the humble persuader. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very adept at engaging all varieties of people in a very refined, educated, sophisticated manner. And his son was the confrontational type. And Srila Prabhupada drew from both. When you're giving the Bhaktivedanta purports, or for him to give what he was giving to the world, and still giving, and through generations and passage of time when morals and customs and culture are going down, not up, generally speaking, because of the advancement of the age of Kali. How to present? It's like, it's so empowered. And tirelessly giving and encouraging that knowledge be disseminated. And of course, equally important with the knowledge being disseminated is persons who represent that knowledge by their life and their words, achar and prachar. And that's what he gave the world. That's what he gave us. A wonderful gift. I remember when this volume was first published, the enthusiasm of ISKCON at the time was not so refined. The enthusiasm was high, not so refined. And it was a big deal. What Prabhupada is writing here about the demoniac population, there's disturbances. And the indication, how, in what ways the demoniac population is increasing. We weren't we are still, even today, not aware, how that is. But it was very clear that the natural disturbances, increasing and increasing and increasing, have a cause. And so in one sense it was, for some it was condescension. And then for others it was inspiration. How important it is for this knowledge, for people to receive this knowledge, and then to live by it. That's enthusiasm to distribute Prabhupada's books, at least that much. Distribute Prabhupada's books means, the implication is, light in this dark age of Kali shall increase. Light of the Bhagavat, because it gives light in this age of darkness. So at least people who want to can see. Turn the light on, that you can see what's what. With maybe, just as a social comment by me, maybe more enthusiastic than qualified. And that resulted in some problems. Because when you're not qualified and you're enthusiastic, it can be embarrassing. And so refinement doesn't mean dial down the enthusiasm and dial up the refinement. It means dial up the refinement. It means the application of the teachings, the living by the teachings. And that's our challenge or our opportunity. Learn, apply, propagate. And repeat. Hear the message, assimilate the message, live by the message, and encourage others to do the same. Just a little sharing, and I'm going to end. While I was traveling, I received some messages from the local book distribution party, what their goal is for this year for Srimad Bhagavatam sets. Some of you may know the number, some of you may not know the number. It's a big number. Dhananjaya Pandit, you know the big number? 500 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam in this year. Heading towards Bhadra Purnima, but then there's the rest of the year. 500 Bhagavatam sets. So I shared that message with Vaisheshika Prabhu. And he started jumping and dancing. And then just before coming here, I was in ISV. And they're going to surpass any temple in the world, and it's not a big temple. It's cute. The deity worship is very nice, but it's small. Deity worship is nice. Temple room is small. The devotees are quietly enthusiastic. Oh, Krishna. Devotees are quietly enthusiastic. And I forget the number. It's a big number, over 1,000 for sure, in a little temple. So it's not, bragging about them or bragging about this temple. It's just, it's the mission of our founder Acharya. Giving us the means to make a difference. Permanent, real, not cosmetic difference, not a band-aid, but a cure of the disease of this age of Kali and the influence of demoniac population, just as this section is discussing. The adage or the principle is where there's spiritual well-being, material well-being follows. Just like the shadow that's the material well-being, follows the object that casts the shadow. The spiritual well-being is the object. And if spiritual well-being is ill, then the shadow is ill. That's what this section is describing. And there's lots more to say, but yeah, like the free will question. And how is Krishna compassionate if he allows stuff like this? Come on. He's the controller. He can just say no. That's the spiritual world. Everyone says yes. And then there's some people that don't say yes. They say no, and sometimes it's shouted, no. So there's a place for them. And then there's consequences for that misuse of free will. So he's the controller. Why doesn't he just take away free will? And all that whole topic. Round and around and around. There's the material, there's the spiritual world. There's love, and there's the absence of love. And so when there's love, the answer is yes. And if there's no, the answer is no love. And then what? Free will. People make choices. So we're also making choices in our own personal lives and our capacities to be of service to our founder Acharya and the previous Acharyas and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the mission of addressing the perils of this age of Kali. We all have an opportunity and a role to play. Srimad Bhagavatam is central to reformation, and the chanting of the holy name is essential to having a proper understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are our two most essential pillars: chanting and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavad Gita, etc. So let's see if there's some discussion.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My question is, if we are about to do something,
Start over again.
we are about to do something, and
You're about to do something,
yes, and we know that thing is not good for us.
and you know that it's not good for you.
Yes, but still we go ahead and do that, as you talked about free will. In that situation, Maharaj, what are we supposed to do?
Find the brake pedal and use it. Take shelter. That's the brake pedal. Because implicit in stopping something is something stronger that stops that something. So what's that something that's stronger? Bhakti is stronger. Access bhakti by taking shelter. So at that time, if you can, advisable, hit the pause button. And there's all kinds of things that shouldn't be. I mean, I'll share this. In the course of my travels, someone was sharing with me some difficulties they experienced, without going into it, because I don't want to reveal too much. And the result of that misfortune they experienced, it made a scar. And the scar led to contemplations of bad stuff. And the contemplations of bad stuff made them feel guilty, and it spiraled and spiraled and spiraled. And at one point in time, they were heading for the top floor of the building they were living in to commit suicide because it was too much. And then that devotee said, "But something stopped me." Now, detrimental, not to be done behavior, take it to an extreme, and suicide is taking it to an extreme. It's not a solution. It's just born of frustration. So before it's, just born of frustration, doing something, because after doing something that you know that should be done, there's the sense of remorse or guilt or shaming or blaming, and all those doesn't make it better emotions. And it's abundant in this age. Many people don't even know what's to be done, what's not to be done. They get it the exact opposite, and they're fine with it. Although they suffer, they're fine with doing what's not to be done because they feel impelled to do it, so they do it. And so, your question is, you have the sense of what's to be done or not to be done, and there's this impelling force to do it, what to do. Take shelter. Pause, like this person heading for the upper floor of the building that he was living in at the time. And so he didn't say what that force was or voice was. But so it doesn't have to be something that extreme, but the principle is pause, reflect, take shelter. Consider what's to be done, what's not to be done, and take shelter of what's to be done on the strength of the strength beyond your own strength. And that's bhakti. And in quieter times, besides the ones you just mentioned, when you're contemplating something that shouldn't be done, you make it your mission, your personal mission, to strengthen bhakti. When it's not in the situation you described, it's just, rather peaceful, normal, everyday, take deeper shelter. So bhakti will protect you from those situations. Something else? Yes?
Maharaj, when mentioning about the devotees at ISV.
Say it again.
When speaking about the devotees at ISV, you mentioned they're quietly enthusiastic. And I'd love to hear a bit more about what is quiet enthusiasm?
Oh, utsaha nishchaya daryat. That's what it means. You know what that means. Utsaha is the starting point. Without being enthusiastic, you're not going to lift your pinky. So being enthusiastic, generally, enthusiasm in this material world is for something material. I do something to get something, fruitive activity. That's enthusiasm. I do something to get something. And the quietly is, I'm patient because it's not to get something. There's another purpose. Another purpose is the third. Dharyat. I stay on course, not enthusiastic just to get something. If I don't get something, I lose my enthusiasm. So it's so quietly enthusiastic as utsahandishchaya dharyat. So that takes some spiritual wisdom. And spiritual wisdom doesn't grow on trees. Spiritual wisdom comes from spiritual association, sadhu sangha. Now I know some people who are enthusiastic and they're not at all quietly enthusiastic. And some people you can tap them on the shoulder and say, excuse me. And and some people don't respond. They just continue to be, they're not quietly enthusiastic, ostentatiously enthusiastic. There's some people like that. So, enthusiasm without a steering wheel. What to speak of a brake pedal. So, utsaha nishchaya daryat. Something else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Regarding the samskaras, at what point in time the youth in Gaudiya Vaishnava lines supposed to have or perform the thread ceremony? If you can shed some light on that.
The speaker system is not allowing me to understand you. You speak without the speaker system.
At what point in time you should be given a perform thread ceremony?
Okay, Upanayana. It depends. I mean, there's tradition, and then there's today. And technically, according to one's varna, there are different stages of life. I mean, a nice example I learned, because I don't know so much about these rules, but Krishna's Upanayana was performed when he was 11. And according to the Acharya's commentaries, that was very good time for those who are Kshatriya boys at 11. But, following of the Varnashram system these days is something else. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavatam purport that all children by the age of 12 should receive initiation. Most children at the age of 12 aren't ready to even understand what that is, what to speak of maintain it. So, there's rules that apply for very careful followers of the rules of Varnashram. And then there's the current situation. So if there are persons that are fastidiously following and they're able to and it's just fine, then depends on their varna. And otherwise it depends on their adhikar. One person's qualification. Does that answer does that suffice? You want to go more with it? Okay, good. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, sometimes this is maybe a little technical type question, that sometimes in the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam sets, people take it because Prabhupada's books are so attractive and hypnotizing.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they go home, then they feel, I took sometimes they go home and then they regret I spent $300 or something. And then for some time it seems as though
buyer's regret.
Yeah, they don't come back. They think, well, they gave me this big set, and so I'm not coming back. And so then the doubt comes that should I have given them maybe less books and not the full set? Would they have been happier, or was this the right thing to do?
I wouldn't get mental. I mean, the inspiration in the moment for something that's transcendentally valuable, it's maximum that they can handle. That's fine. Do you know who the book distributor Parama Karuna is? Gopal Krishna Maharaj's disciple, Parama Karuna. Do you know him? He's like enthusiasm without a steering wheel. And he regularly sends me photographs. He goes to this place and that place. And he takes photographs of people with a stack of books like that. And, they like him and they like the books, at least, and this, their buyer regret afterwards, I don't know. I can imagine there's probably some buyer's regret. They remember him and they remember that whatever it is, the buttons he pushes, and they feel inspired to take, and it's again and again. It's like almost every day, a whole stack of books like that. And sometimes, a box that has the set, the Srimad Bhagavatam set, and then some books on top of that. And he's just like super enthusiastic. So, when you're hearing your question, I'm thinking of him. People, chances are, yes, some people, because he meets people in all kinds of circumstances. And, it's eternally beneficial for them anyway. And there's others besides him. There are others that are doing that same program. One devotee calls it the Saptarishi set. What do people know the Saptarishis? These are just people, American fellows. The Saptarishi set. So they got 7 books. No problem. Anything else? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
hear what he is saying and then we can pray.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. 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 Krishna Krishna. Krishna. Hare 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 Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. Kapil Prabhu, can you hear me? Hare all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Kapil Prabhu, can you hear me? Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. This is good song. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Just go down and then there will be a door right side.
Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Okay.